Alright, so in a previous video we watched problems to define the side length, knowing an angle, and one other side length using SOHCAHTOA. But now we're going to do kind of the opposite. We're going to be given two sides and we're going to find the angle. So anytime we do a problem, like we did 3x equals 9, or x plus 5 equals 4, or x squared equals 9, every problem you always do the opposite. You divide by 3, you subtract 7, you take the square root. Everything has its opposites, or what we call the inverse. So even trig ratios have their own inverse ratios. So what we're going to talk about is using the inverse sign, inverse of sine, inverse cosine, inverse tan, in order to find this value. That's what we're focusing on right now. So let's just worry about just the numbers first. So we have sine of b equals 0.4848. So what we're going to do is take our calculator. Now, if you don't have my calculator, you have to ask, and I'll help you. But in my calculator, all you have to do is hit second, and then whatever sign ratio you're looking for. So in this first problem, to find it, I'm going to have to take the inverse sign. So I'm going to take inverse, and it looks like this on your calculator. 0.4848. So you're going to hit second, sign. You're going to see that -1 pop up, and then hit 0.4848. You're going to number. Let's call that 29 degrees. There you go. Do the same thing here. Hit cosine -1 of 0.6157. 0.6157. Let's say it rounded up to 52 degrees. And there you go. So nothing too hard. Same thing here. Let's do tangent of -1 of 19.0811. So tangent, oops, not yet. We're not on that problem yet. 19.0811. Gives us, it's rounded up to 87 degrees. This one, same thing, cosine inverse of 0.4226. So 0.4226. I'm going to keep it at 65 degrees. So you can see all we're doing is just taking the the inverse of those numbers. Alright, so now let's look at our numbers, our problems. I have here, this is opposite, and this is adjacent. So if you remember, we have opposite and adjacent. We're going to use tangent. So tangent, we don't know what the value is, so x equals 14 over 29. Okay, to get rid of that, we're going to do the inverse. What that happens here, that crosses that off. So what that means is in my calculator, I need to take tangent of -1 of 14 divided by 29. So let's take that calculator. Inverse tangent, 14 divided by 29. And it gives me, let's round to 2 decimal places, 25.77 degrees. There you go. Alright, next one. You circle the angle we're looking at. We got opposite, because if I draw a line, it's opposite, and this is always hypotenuse, because it's always along the side. So if we're doing that, so you can stop right there, because we're going to use sine. Sine of x, because we don't know x, equals 11 over 27. So x equals inverse sine of 11 over 27. Let's take our calculator. 2 decimal places. So that equals 24.04 degrees. Next one, find this angle. This one is opposite. You see right here, that's my 90 degree. That makes this hypotenuse. So once again, we're using sine, just like our previous problem. So let's do inverse sine of -1 of 12 over 24, and whatever that is, it's going to give me x. So let's do -12 divided by 24. It's going to give me 30, exactly 30 on the spot. Next one. This is adjacent, this is hypotenuse, and this is the opposite, but we don't even know that. So we're using SOHCAHTOA. We have the a and the h, so we're going to use this one, which is cosine. Cosine of x equals 4 over 5. So we're going to do the inverse. So x equals cosine, the inverse of cosine equals 4 over 5. 4 divided by 5. And we get 36.87 degrees. Alright, 2 more. Now, when you're given all 3 of them, you can use whatever one you want. Because I have the hypotenuse, I have the opposite, I have the adjacent. So whatever one you use, you will get the same answer. So I can use sine, I can use tangent, I can use cosine. Any one of them, I'll get the right answer. So let's do, I don't know, sine. So sine of x equals 68 over 85. Okay, that means I'm going to take inverse. Get my calculator. 68 divided by 5. So no matter which way you get, I bet you get 53.13 degrees. Same thing here. You set it up, you got A, O, and H. Remember, that's opposite of the angle. This is opposite of the 90, and that leaves that right there. We use sine in the first one. Let's use cosine. Cosine of x equals 30 over 34. I'm going to use x equals the inverse of cosine of 30 divided by 34. And I get 28.07 for my answer. Alright, next one. You can use whichever one you want. I use sine in the first one, cosine in the second one. Let's try tangent in this one. (51 over 68). So we're going to use inverse tangent. Now make sure you're doing these correctly, because if you get invalid, that means you're doing something wrong. And then the answer is 36.87. I rounded. All right, last problem. Once again, let's use sine. Sine of x equals 42 over 70. So we're going to take 42 divided by 70. 36.87. There you go. Once again, guys, you could have chose cosine or tangent. For any one of these, you could have switched them up. Don't matter, you're going to get the same answer.